So, William, thank you for coming.
Gay William.
I'm sorry, Gay William. Thank you for coming to my office today.
Who did this office? It's fabulous. Minimalist. It's masculine. I like it.
Thank you so much. You know, you pick up a tchotchke here.
Yeah, why am I here?
Well, the reason I brought you here is because we've received several complaints from staffers that you've been heavily disparaging Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico. And I think that this is out of character for you. It's very self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating? Hold on a second. I'm not Puerto Rican.
But, you know, on the show, Steven says all the time,
You keep my Steven's name out of your damn mouth.
William Galen, okay, thank you for sitting back down, and I'm sorry, I think we got off on the wrong foot there. So you're telling me that you're not from Puerto Rico?
Do I look stupid and ugly?
No, not at all. You're not from the island of Puerto Rico then. I just want to make sure.
Call me Puerto Rican one more time, Samuel, and I swear to God.
So you're not from that island, you're from a...
Correct. I'm Cuban. I'm not a murderer, and I'm not Ricky Martin.
Okay. Well, the point I made still stands. You can't just disparage an entire island of people who've made a very important contribution.
Name one.
Jennifer Lopez?
Pig.
You mentioned Ricky Martin.
Sucker.
Okay, Shakira?
Puerto Rico wishes.
5 or 6 million people. I'm sure there's someone else who's important.
5 or 6 million stupid people.
Okay, well...
Are you Jewish?
Yes, I am.
Sammy, Samuel. You wouldn't rate Mel Brooks over the coal for a joke, would you?
Oh, absolutely not. He's a national treasure.
Mm-hmm.
So those comments you said earlier were all made in jest then, right?
Serious as a heart attack. Puerto Ricans are the worst. But let me be the first to say, your suit is fabulous. Your tailor needs a raise. All right, who's the snitching Puerto Rican
What just
lover
happened?
out here in that fucking suit?
Remember, none of this is possible without you. Join the fight and sign up for MugClub today at louderwithcrowder.com/MugClub for $89 annually. Join the fight at louderwithcrowder.com/MugClub today. Glad to be with you. Yep. Okay, speaker's off. Good. Sorry about Sam from HR. We actually will have Gay William later on the show. Of course, you're a resident Cuban gay conservative to the right of Attila the Hun, so prepare your questions. That'll be later on MugClub. A lot to get to today. Let's hit the rundown. Some, not some new information, but confirmation. Former Vice President's emails, 82,000 emails now have been uncovered from former Vice President Joe Biden. Take a guess. Take a guess what's in there. We'll go through that. Yeah, it confirms everything. We talked about this yesterday, but we wanted to take some time to go through the information a little bit more. We also have an exclusive today, a MugClub Undercover, with the illegal migrant tidal wave that's been taking place across the country. What's very surprising is you might think, look, put in your mind's eye, what do you think of when you think of illegal immigrants, the latest caravans? That's not it. And we had someone on the ground who, by the way, got in trouble with the authorities for filming, even though he had the right to. So we'll just want you to stay tuned for that, and we'll probably at some point have to hit the YouTube dump button, watch on Rumble. And throat cancer is something we'll be discussing today as well. So let me ask you this. You know what? Never mind. Let me just introduce everybody first. When you hear this, you know him. You know who it is. He's going to be at Bricktown Comedy Club November 5th. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Mr. Josh Firestine. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm
good. Are you good?
I'm excited for the throat cancer segment.
Yes. It's not really a segment.
Well, I mean, it never is long enough.
No. And Gerald is at Mar-a-Lago right now, and I believe we'll be doing the debate stream next week, too, so we might have some exclusive interviews on there, so that is why Josh is in kind of second here, and then in third chair when you hear this.
Ooh, yeah.
It's Pops Crowder. How are you, sir?
I'm great. It's more of a deep dive, Josh, than a segment.
Yeah.
We're going to get wet, folks.
That's what she said.
Sorry.
Hey.
Hey, we miss you, Gerald.
That's the big idea.
Never did I think that my father would come on the show and make it worse. To people listening on audio, in 4 minutes, you're going to retroactively go, oh, God. All right. So I guess I have a question for you before I run this clip. Why do you think that most husbands are upset if, let's say, their wives create an OnlyFans? There's a problem right now throughout the country. There's an epidemic, I guess I should say. Not really. It's just happening. Guys are getting upset. And how would you react, I guess, if you were a husband and wife? Is it something that you would consider, I guess, if you needed to pay the bills? Because this has been going viral, but there's a few dynamics at play here. Former NBA player Joe Smith, he found out, and then his wife, as a good wife does, videotaped his reaction, or filmed, sorry. It's not videotape, it's an iPhone camera. We used to say videotape film anyways. Sorry, throwback. She filmed her husband's reaction when he found out that she had an OnlyFans, and he reacted in a way that shouldn't be surprising.
I have an OnlyFans page, and he's mad because he's just now finding out about it.
Of course I'm mad I'm just finding out about it.
I'm not doing it with anybody but myself, so why should I have to tell you my choice, my body, my choice?
Your partner, you're supposed to come to me and talk to
Joe, I've been talking to you about mad things. I've been asking for solutions to not giving me none, so I created one.
That's no solution. Not in my book.
But pause. By the way, the book he's referring to is Joe Smith's guide on how to not be a lying whore. So that's, to be fair, he may have a bias with his book.
Did it make top 10
No, it did not. It was an Amazon bestseller, but it wasn't New York Times.
It wasn't on Oprah's reading list.
No one knows. Yeah. Although our next segment is one of her favorite things. Let's continue.
He's breaking me off. What the
Come on, Keith, with that. It don't matter what they breaking you off. It's the disrespect that comes with it.
What
You couldn't
disrespect?
You couldn't come and talk to me about it.
Okay, well, we're talking about it now.
Okay.
Live streaming.
Yeah, live streaming.
What an asshole.
This
Live
is
when you're caught.
This is not. I have an apple skin stuck in the front of my teeth. I'm sorry. Damn it with the apples. We have a problem in this office with apples. All right. Here's the problem. It used to be, and you guys can comment below, and I understand. Now, this woman was an adult video star before he married her. Okay, so guys, you need to make better decisions. You can't be you can't be surprised as though it's unexpected if you married someone who was an adult film star. Okay. Yeah. Now, for the rest of the guys, though, who do run into these situations, and we've run these clips before where all of a sudden a wife starts an OnlyFans or a girlfriend, it used to be if you were one of those guys and you decided that you were going to marry a stripper or a hooker, okay, you kind of accepted it. You're like, okay, or you were a guy who wanted a nice woman who was not those things. Not that you can't be a nice woman, but you wanted a non-stripper. Let's put it that way. I don't want to sex shame. You wanted a non-hooker as someone, when you're talking about the betrothed. Okay. That's fair. But now it's, okay, you marry a nice lady. You're like, yeah, no, I got a nice wife. And then, and she's a stripper now. I guess that just changed. You're a hooker? You weren't. Now she is. Huh.
Everything.
That changes the entire landscape. And if a man gets upset, they videotape it. By the way, if she wasn't filming him, he would have been way madder.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
He knows he can't say what he wants to.
Yeah.
He's famous and he's on live. He Jada Pinketed her.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to
It's very different.
What's wrong with you? What is wrong? And ain't nobody want to see that. And just all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, shut that. And she would be worse too. Throwing crap. A vase would break against a wall at some point in time. So unsurprisingly, Joe Smith left the house, but this woman, the perfect angel that she is, still placing the blame on him.
Yes, the first question is, where's Joe?
How are you guys doing?
Where's Joe?
He's pretty pissed off with me, so he's been, I think he's at his sister's house.
No.
He's not talking to me right now. So, yeah.
Thanksgiving gonna be off the chain.
A home in the shivered I'm trying not to lose, and a roof over here we're trying to maintain
for a
that we
turkey.
almost got kicked out of. So I just kicked
Second
in the
question,
drive
what's
and
the
did what I
link?
had to do, and he won't do it, so I had to. And I'm sorry, you knew I was an adult video star when you met me. So if I would do anything for my own survival then, what makes you think that would change now?
You should have paid attention when your teacher taught you the fable of the frog and the porn actress.
Oh, I remember that one.
I was a slut when you rescued me. So my question to you is, Who do you think is to blame here? Again, there's a dynamic that she was in adult videos. Okay, fine, got it. But the issue is a complete lack of accountability. Notice how you'll hear this a lot with people who those 5-finger discounts in San Francisco. It's, well, I had to. We were going to get kicked out.
My survival.
Yeah. In her case, it's his fault. He wasn't paying the bills. He wasn't. So he's doing nothing. He's not contributing. And the only way to pay the bills when you're married to a former NBA star was to sell yourself naked online, pornographically? There's no other option?
It's all I know.
Yes.
It's all I know how to do.
That's all I know. Again,
What am I supposed to get a job at a library?
well, it might not be bad. You might learn to shut the up.
I don't know how many jobs there are at libraries, but
There's a couple. Some.
It's all I know. Well, you don't know it that good. That's what would have happened if the camera wasn't running. And everyone's like, I cannot believe it's his fault. It's his fault, and so now he has to accept it however the cards may lie.
I mean, there's some responsibility on him. She's ultimately wrong, but like, she had a link. She said she had a link for months.
Yeah,
he didn't even know. He's not even looking at her Instagram. He was talking to some other girl. They're both.
Yeah, it seems like maybe they deserve each other, but there
just
are
left him and took some money with her.
No, and in context, though, Marley was a porn star to begin with. I mean, he knew what he was getting into here. Yes. Did he know he was being filmed?
Pops are killing it today.
Did he know he was being filmed or live streamed, Tim?
He just.
I assume he.
Okay.
Yeah, of course he knew. He saw it. He saw it.
He's out there.
Yeah, and you know it. Just he's like, what? Did I just find you? Oh, hey, I do not agree with this decision, y'all. And I do not respectfully. And then beep, you motherfucker. Oh, hey, and I think that it would be best for our family unit if you shut the.
Answer my objection.
Good job marrying Dickens and porn star. All right.
The way he reacted, it's like she's done this before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got the camera on again.
There's no privacy anymore is the issue. There's no privacy. Like, this is the thing. A marital dispute. I mean, we lived through it with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and then everyone else found out, with context, what they knew was wrong. Yep. And it's an entire
Was this guy a big star at some point? Was he a good player? I don't know.
I don't know enough about
I
He
never.
was wearing a Golden State Warriors shirt, so I gotta assume he was like a bench player on a championship team.
Yeah, I don't know.
We made the show, but doesn't mean he's still wealthy.
Yeah. But he's thrilled with
choice did she have?
this next study. So, and again, we always say this is a PG-13 show, and this isn't for children, but this is true. A new study shows that cunnilingus is now the leading cause of throat cancer, or doctors are discussing this. According to some new research, the higher incidence of Americans engaging in oral sex, specifically cunnilingus, carries a greater risk of oral HPV contraction and now statistically leads to a higher probability risk of developing oral cancer than smoking, tobacco, or hard alcohol use. This comes from a new study that's now being referred to as the God hates lesbians but loves black guys research.
Well,
It's a sliver.
Respect to black guys for standing their ground.
They've held true.
That's manifest destiny. That's survival of the fittest.
By the way, if at any point today, if it hasn't been hit yet, you see this, the YouTube dump button? Yeah, that means head on over to Rumble, and of course, we'll continue on MugClub today. Gay William in your chats, and we have some exclusive footage today from the latest migrant caravan fiasco. What's happening in New York City, and you never know. You never know with YouTube. They might hit you with a strike. They might tell you to remove it, even though it's well within the parameters of the law. So you may see that button quite a bit today. Okay.
Can we send the cunnilingus story? Can I get a link to that to send to my wife?
How about new?
I'd like to see that, like the Joe Smith video. She'd be like, well, you're safe. You should use the other camera. It's more pixels.
I've been robbed of all my mom jokes today. Terrible.
All right. So former Vice President Biden, he's corrupt, right? You know that. And you know that we've talked about the Hunter Biden story, and that's been suppressed. Okay. But this is another example of, I guess you should say, corroborating research that the media has been fundamentally uninterested in covering at all. Now, this isn't just about, the hilarity that his son wears an ascot and smokes Parmesan cheese. Right. This is about the fact that the man sitting in the Oval Office, napping in the Oval Office, has used his vice presidential office back then for political gain in a way that is undoubtedly corrupt and illegal. You would think the media would be interested in this. Remember Watergate? Remember Aaron Brockovich? It was about tap water. Nothing? media silence. So first, let's set this up. All references available at ladderwithcreditor.com. This is a new lawsuit by the Southern Legal Foundation. It's revealed that Joe Biden sent 82,000 emails using pseudonyms during his tenure as vice president. And as far as we have seen, and I'll actually ask you to help out here because we've looked and we haven't been able to find anything, thus far only Fox Business has broadcast it.
It's a stunning amount, 82,000 emails. They've produced 14, so they have 81,986 more to go. But this is how many instances Joe Biden used a fake name to conduct government business on his government email. So here we have a president that used a fake name, a pseudonym in a government email at least 82,000 times.
Now, for context, Hillary's private server, it only had 33,000 emails. So we're talking about over 80,000 emails, largely with pseudonyms. And by the way, some of the pseudonyms have raised concerns themselves regarding him leading a double life. It turns out he took a side gig as Charles E. Cheese. And he also worked temporarily as a good humor delivery man. And honestly, most disappointing, he moonlit as a Nigerian prince asking for money. And I'm more upset.
That's Trudeau. Come on.
I'm more upset with myself for sending money.
Oh, well.
Western Union didn't have my back.
Steven, you're too generous, man. I've been telling you.
Why do you dress up? It's an email. Okay.
He's in character. He got it from Nancy Pelosi.
He's very convincing.
Yes. Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of the content is unknown. That's part of the reason why we didn't want to just cover it yesterday. We wanted to, A, see if we could get some more information on this content, and B, see how the media would cover it. So here's what we do know as far as what is included in these emails. There's emails. There are emails that coincide, I should say, that at least the claim right now. 2014 to 2019, Hunter served on the board of Burisma. Okay, that seems to be included in these emails, some information regarding that. 2015, I remember the VPA, John Flynn, included Hunter on emails following former Vice President Joe Biden's threats to withhold aid from Ukraine. Again, Burisma, Ukraine, right, company. Hunter serves on that board for people who don't remember. And then you had Joe Biden threaten to withhold aid at this same period of time.
And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion.
Right. Now, remember, this is one of those things. This is the prosecutor he's referring to is Victor Shokin, right, who was dismissed eventually. Mm-hmm. So this all ties in to Hunter Biden, investigations going on. 2016, there are at least 10 emails that CC'd Hunter Biden. This comes from the New York Post. It says at least 10 missives were sent between May 18th and June 15th, 2016, and CC'd first on Hunter Biden, with one on May 26th notifying Hunter of a scheduled phone call the next day between the vice president and Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko. I may not pronounce that properly.
It's okay.
And the National Archives said that it will, quote, produce non-exempt files on a monthly rolling basis going forward. And rumor has it that over 2,000 of them were Obama asking to be let out of the White House laundry room. So we don't know. Now, thanks, Nick. So you would think, hey, corruption, right? This should be like catnip for the media. Corruption, international. It's basically, if James Bond was a geriatric.
I'd like to see that movie.
And here is the kind of outrage that you see from the media yesterday when this happened and through today, this evening, covering the story, as you would imagine, nonstop.
We turn now to an ABC News exclusive involving former President Trump and nuclear secrets.
Closing arguments are expected to take place today in the trial of FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried.
The United States Congress began this week with the Speaker of the House and both of its chambers in session.
Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla are in Kenya for a state visit.
Sorry, I screwed up. I showed you the opposite of that. Now,
those are important stories.
Yeah, well, yesterday,
Kenya.
CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC cover the story? Guess? Oh, you know what? Comment below. So pause if you're listening on audio. Guess. 0 times. None. Not one. Now, facts don't exist in a vacuum. Let's contrast that, provide some context with the treatment of President Donald Trump's documents.
We're learning today that Trump's lawyer has receipts and that special counsel Jack Smith.
Oh, lawyers have
has them
receipts?
too.
The case involves Trump's handling of classified documents after he left office. For months, Mr. Trump refused to return the documents despite multiple requests. That led to a raid of his Mar-a-Lago estate back in August.
Tonight, an historic shakeup in the race for the White House.
Pause. Did they do that or did we do that? Did they do that shake?
I hope we did that.
We did not do that.
They did that?
They did that.
No way. Shake up. It's like, let me do it like an Etch-a-Sketch. News.
Was that Gerald in the background?
Someone in the office like, let's do shake and bake. Lyle, you're fired. But I like the Etch-a-Sketch thing.
He's at Mar-a-Lago, isn't he? Is he in that storage room? Like
Could
Where's
be.
Waldo?
I have no idea. He's wearing his tux. All right, let's continue. I just was bothered by legitimate news doing a shake screen effect.
That was an intern.
Yeah.
Frontrunner former President Trump facing federal criminal charges.
We begin tonight with breaking news. We have obtained what is expected to be a central piece of the government's case against Donald Trump. The actual audio recording of the former president talking as if he's showing a highly classified document on U.S. war plans against Iran.
And by the way, yesterday morning, CNN, with, again, the 82,000 new emails under pseudonyms, former Vice President Joe Biden, yesterday morning, CNN was still covering the document. Now, I tell you this because you'd watch it and think, oh, that's from months ago. No, yesterday morning, when this story broke, CNN was instead covering this.
There's a crucial hearing in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Lawyers for former President Trump expected to formally make another attempt to try to delay this until after the election.
Now, Team Trump has repeatedly complained to the judge that they haven't had proper access to classified evidence in the case as they prepare for the trial.
So 82,000, just to be clear, 82,000 emails under pseudonyms. We did our own search, not just on air. We searched these websites. Nothing. Here's proof. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC. And I'm going to ask you, please comment. This is crowdsourcing. This is crowdsourcing information. Run your own searches for the Biden email stories on this from yesterday on these mainstream outlets. Let me know what you find. Comment below. Yeah. And hit like if you'd rather watch paint dry than CNN at this point. You can hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm. But imagine that. Nothing. And when people try and say, man, the corporate media, and they try and make it sound like it's right-wing because of corporations, again, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, nothing. Nothing.
Well, they all received an email from Charles E. Cheese.
Yes, they did.
Telling him to kindly not run the story.
Yes. It was an e-card that you open up. You say it's your birthday.
It's not news. Like nothing that what they do is news.
No, nothing is news anymore. And then they try to gaslight you and say, what happened to legitimate news in this country? Well, aren't you the same people who didn't cover this level of corruption with the sitting vice president and at the same time also said that Joe Rogan was taking a horse medication? Yeah. And then demand that big tech, 3 companies, fact check and determine misinformation based on, well, of course, the White House as well, our federal government, and you, MSNBC, CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, nothing. And then they tell you, can you believe that Donald Trump said that the media is the enemy? Yeah, and this isn't just to conservatives. Does it not matter at this point? This directly affects national security. This actually affects your day-to-day life, especially when you're talking about over $100 billion committed to Ukraine. What does it take?
Yeah,
what does it take?
It's about political parties at that point. It's about yourself and your country, right? I don't want to be deceived.
Yeah. I think this is the thing. We know every single mistake that Donald Trump has ever made. We know all about it. We know every single mistake. We don't know about 82,000 emails?
You know, I was surprised to learn just there that Hunter worked or was on the board of Burisma for 5 years.
Yeah.
I thought it was a short stint, and they kind of slapped his head and he was off. But 5 years.
And he largely worked from home.
Yeah.
He never showed up.
He was at Burisma longer than he was doing crack.
No, he wasn't.
I doubt that.
I doubt that. I mean, he's still doing a little crack every now and then.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, I know.
He was there another 3 years after they fired the prosecutor.
Yeah, well, because at that point you're like, okay,
It's
well,
free and clear.
I guess I'm through the worst.
Yeah.
So, hold on a second.
80
Really
grand a
quickly,
month?
what are they talking about on CNN? Speaker Michael Johnson holding his first formal news conference.
And the reason for
But I'm
that
saying when
is-
it comes back
Johnson.
to the Senate, that's your
Look, right.
Oh, that's what he looks
We're,
like.
Their decision they have to make on their own, but our decision is, look, the reason we pulled it from the Israel Fund is that's a pile of money, $67 billion that's sitting over there to refurbish, build up, and hire new IRS agents and the rest. If you have to look at the scope and the importance of our commitments right now, my belief is that this dire situation in Israel is so important.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad that we'll see how that develops, but I'm glad that he's talking about building up the IRS. I mean, it's talk about how remarkable the media is at lying to people. No one likes the IRS.
Yeah,
I guarantee if people knew that, did he just say $87 billion? That $87 billion was going to refurbish the IRS, no one would be on board with that.
Nobody.
So what happens is they just don't really cover it. They give you a fact check in Snopes that say, no, there are not going to be 80-something thousand new IRS agents, employees, but they're not all agents. That's it. That's all you get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the stories that they lie to you about, it's what they choose not to cover. That's the most corrosive form of lie, I would say, that happens in the media. The most consistent lie that every single day is just what they choose absolutely not to cover. And before you say that we're biased here, yes, we absolutely are. I just don't lie to you about it. We provide all the references and put the link in the description. Of course I'm biased. I revile the left. It's not enough this day and age. It's not enough to just believe in the country. You have to revile what people are doing to the country at this point. You have to have great disdain for it if we're going to change anything. That's why I don't try and fake middle ground it. But, hey. Speaking of corruption and what the media chooses not to cover, we want you to tell us about it. You can send your tips to lwctips@protonmail.com. This is what MugClub supports. If you guys are not members, louderwithcredit.com/MugClub. You get 2 times the show every day. You get a Friday show, Alex Jones on Friday. You get Nick DiPaolo every day, Hodge Twins, Brian Callen, Mr. Guns and Gear. And you support a lot of these endeavors that, frankly, if this was just business, wouldn't make sense. But it matters as far as impact on the country. So we have an undercover investigative unit. And if you do send something in, we'll protect our sources with our lives. There are people here who are willing to go to jail to protect their sources. So you will be, your privacy is paramount to us. Let me set this up as far as this story, a bit of a refresher. So another huge caravan of illegal, what do we say? They don't want to say no human beings are illegal. You know what? Just illegal people. They're making...
Irregular.
Yeah, irregular. Atypical.
Unmonitored.
Yeah. Actually, no, we're going to get to they have ankle monitors.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what they do. We pay for ankle monitors. So another caravan of illegals is making its way to our southern border to take advantage of the open border policy. And right now, we actually, I guess, have an exclusive clip at the southern border. Wrong clip. Sorry. Let's grab the newest clip.
Yeah. Mostly peaceful.
Of the migrant caravan.
A caravan with an estimated 5,000 migrants are heading north towards the U.S. The movement on the heels of a record-breaking year for migrant encounters along the southwest border. In recent months, city leaders experiencing a spike in migrant crossings sought support from the federal government.
All right, so before I give you a refresher on what has been happening in our country with illegal immigrants and how it's a crisis, well, you know what? This is MugClub Undercover. Okay, so remedial, how bad has the border policy been? Okay, and we'll give you some contrast too, again, because facts don't exist in just a vacuum, comparing this with Donald Trump's presidency. Where I also wonder, at what point do we say, okay, all right, it's gotten worse? The economy, international turmoil, certainly our policy at the border. So since January 2021, we've had approximately 7 million encounters at the southern border. Now that's a record.
Jeez.
2023 alone, there have been 2.48 million encounters at the southern border. Again, a record. Now let's just go to a month. September 2023, 269,735 encounters at the southern border. Again, a record. This is 4 times times the monthly arrivals compared to under President Trump's watch. Under President Trump's watch, the average monthly encounters were around 41,000. Now we're somewhere around 179, 180,000. To give you some scale,
amazing.
Biden has imported more illegals than the population of 35 states. 35 states.
Wow.
And here's what I was asking before. In your mind's eye, when you think illegal immigrants, and you rightfully think this because the left has labeled you as racist, you probably think of, that's not it. You think of Mexican immigrants crossing the border. So with these numbers, 22,000 of them from January to September 2023, Chinese. January to September, Venezuela, 160,000 Venezuelans.
Jeez. Wow.
51,000 people from the Middle East.
That's dangerous.
And these numbers, by the way, don't include gotaways, and I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of those because they really don't want these numbers getting out. And now you have the FBI warning of terrorists coming through the border.
I thought it was mostly families.
Yes, it was mostly. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Yeah, mostly
Women
families.
and children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Terrorists can be families too.
They can. Yeah.
So
they can be families, especially if they're middle-aged, military, male, and single.
Hey, Hitler loved his kids.
Hitler bad.
Yeah, Hitler bad. Just so everyone knows, Hitler bad. Anytime we reference Hitler.
Hitler very bad.
Hitler bad. So here's Chris Wray, and I have to say FBI director because you wouldn't believe it unless I said so, but you know this. If you looked at him, you're like, no way. Yeah. He warned Americans about Hamas-inspired terrorism just this week.
The reality is that the terrorism threat has been elevated throughout 2023, but the ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of an attack against Americans in the United States to a whole nother level.
You know, you just wish that you could actually get these people in like a deposition. It's like, hold on a second. You said that there was no crisis at the southern border. You said that it was not an issue as it relates to national security. And now, when politically expedient, you say, well, there could be Hamas-like terrorists. Well, that's what we've been saying. No, you were just racist. Well, no, hold on a second. People have the right. They have the right to be concerned about illegal Mexican immigrants coming to this country. They have the right to be concerned about MS-13. They have the right to be upset about crime at the southern border. They also have the right to be concerned, and I would say rightfully so, regarding terrorists going through the border, regarding people coming from any country who don't respect or appreciate the Western the American way of life. They absolutely, you labeled them as racist. It's not racist only as it relates to national security, but it always relates to national security. So just to give you more context here, and this is where we go to what is exclusive, people here hard at work, MugClub Undercover. A lot of these people are coming from African countries, like Senegal, and Guinea, and then also the Middle East, China. We have a montage here, I believe. Yeah, this is from MugClub Undercover. And it's really concerning. And then we have a lot more, and even more concerning throughout this segment, you'll see the authorities, police officers, people who are supposed to look out for you. Instead, they're running interference for them. So here you go.
Yo, where are you from? Senegal. Cool, welcome. Where you guys staying here at the Roosevelt? Yes. Yeah? Cool. When'd you get here? For 2 days. Yeah, how'd you get here? Come on, let's go. How'd you get here? Let's go. Senegal? No, from Guinea. Guinea? Yeah. Oh, wow. A lot of people from Guinea? Yeah, some people are from Guinea, yeah. How did it start? Where did you start from to get here?
Start by beginning, start by Nicaragua.
How long is that trip? Huh? How long? A week? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
3 weeks, exactly.
3 weeks. Yeah. And you just got here today?
No, just today, yeah.
A lot of people from Africa coming?
For sure.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of people in Senegal.
Yeah.
The last bus I saw. Yeah.
15 days. 15 days, right? Yeah. Mauritania, yeah, I know where that is. Wow, we were talking before, so you landed in Mexico, and then how did you get to this cold place? How did you get here?
2 days. 2 days. Was a migration?
Yeah. California. Yeah. Wow.
So these people are part of these caravans right now going to New York City. Now, imagine, let's say, southern Texas, where they basically get to fly direct. They're not going to New York City. They're just hopping over the border. And there's no real way to track it. So this is going to be the least severe. This is going to be the mildest group of migrants that you can see as far as where they're coming from and giving you a sample size. So you have illegal migrants who are now going by the busload, arriving and occupying hotels in New York City. And I mean occupying like the Roosevelt. All right. And the people who are supposed to be looking out for you, and this is why I'm also not one of those just back the blue, period, right? Because you have good police and you have bad police. And unfortunately, in cities where there's corruption, you end up with those in charge, those with authority, who rather than looking out for you are taking part in the systematic abusing of you. They were not happy, the authorities in New York, with our undercover units filming these lawbreakers.
You're breaking the law. You're not touching no one. You guys cannot take pictures. We can. You can stand there, but we can take pictures.
Bro. Don't get in my way. You're not going to be on camera. Don't touch me with the box. Do not touch me with the box.
It's okay where we stand here. Call the police. Call the police if you have a problem.
Don't film me, though. Wait, if you're going to get in our way, I can't help it. I'm trying to film in there. You're in my way. Don't touch me. Do not touch me.
Do not touch me.
Do not touch me. If you don't get in my way, I won't film you. It's that easy.
It's just taking over now, huh?
And here's something, it gets even worse. I have to provide some context here. There have been basically these gangs who use scooters, which sounds hilarious.
Scooter gang. Scoot to the fight.
It's the hover crips. But it's true. They've actually been the vehicle of choice for a lot of criminals in New York City. You've probably read some headlines regarding this. Some of them call them mopeds, scooters, mopeds. Why? A scooter is an easy getaway. It's you snatch a purse or you commit it and boom, you can get off and they'll leave them sometimes. So here you have our undercover unit finding a large group, a cache, if you will, of scooters illegally parked outside the hotel. And you would think, hey, here's a tip-off, officer. No.
These illegal scooters is your side hustle? No. The illegal scooters? They're illegally parked?
Police, just take the scooters. Just ask them, like, hey, are those your scooters? They're illegally parked. But we'll get tickets. You'll get tickets for going 5 over. You have a crime wave in your city. It is well documented and acknowledged by the police department that scooters are the transportation vehicle of choice, which again is hilarious, but true. They're there and nothing happens?
The guy was nodding in the video. He's like, these are illegal scooters. He's like, yeah.
I don't think he was a cop. I'm not sure, but there was other police.
In New York, in the winter.
Yeah.
This is your vehicle of choice.
No, he's just a guy who appreciates a good vehicle. That's who that is. Well, the cops in New York, they're busy hassling people sitting down at the train station.
Yes, yes, they're busy hassling those people.
Don't vape in front of them.
Yes.
Oh, they hate it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I thought you meant like those Lime scooters where the illegals have to tap their government-issued credit card to buy some time.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And away they go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That though, that's what you call double dipping. Using an EBT card for a Lime scooter and knocking over a liquor store. You know what? Game respects game.
That's right.
I paid for your felony.
Don't
twice.
hate the player.
So
it's one of those new tap cards. Okay, yes. You're off.
Pay his bail with that thing.
That's right.
Oh, there's no bail in New York.
Yeah,
That's
there's
right.
there's no bail.
No need.
You need a bail. I mean,
you don't need to.
Unless you're a white guy who committed a misdemeanor.
Yep.
So here's the thing. This is a consistent pattern outside of the United States. Really, the largest immigration court in the United States. This Federal Plaza in New York City. The lines for these illegal, they were extraordinarily long. So I think we even had to, we sped this up with a time lapse.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want to waste your time. All the references are available. And by the way, we'll release these clips in their full context on Twitter, on X, those places, so you can follow me there. But we have to shorten this for the sake of a program. Okay.
That looks sped up.
Yeah. Well,
that line wasn't as long as you're making.
Yes, exactly. That's what they'll say. Yeah, this was edited out of context. fine.
Well, they just opened a new bagel shop.
Yes. Yes.
Waiting for their bagel and schmear.
It's free coffee day.
Right.
And here's something that may not make sense to you, and it shouldn't. So some of these migrants were sent to New York City from California, and they wear what, at first glance, you're going, hold on a second, are those ankle monitors? Spoiler alert, yes, but I'll explain why after.
California gave you those GPS monitors? That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad they didn't take it off.
Yes, right. And one of the officers, they actually confronted one of our cameramen there when he found out that the migrants had ankle monitors. Well, they were ushered right in. Here you go.
I'm gonna help you guys.
Oh, we're just asking them about the
We've
GPS.
never seen this bracelet
We've never
before, yeah. Oh, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, wait, what? Can
you have GPS? Is it a California thing? All right, come on, let's go. Yeah. You just get in the line up there. Yeah. Come, please.
Can you help us? Do you know why they do the GPS? It's crazy. Ankle monitors, like why do they have that on their ankles?
Oh, I have no idea. So it's up to ice.
Ice? Interesting. So I guess ice in California.
So if people are asking questions as to why these ankle monitors, let me explain it to you. It's part of a program called FERM, F-E-R-M, the Family Expedited Removal Management Plan, and it was created back in May, I think May of 2023, specifically for families, right, with children to expedite processing, whether they're admitted or whether they end up being sent back. That's what they claim. This was allegedly for expedited removal. However, through May and August, I believe are the numbers that we have. Bring it up, CBS. Yeah, May through August, only 80 out of 2,800 people were deported. Now, here's the thing. This is designed for families. There are no children in this video. None at all. People who are wearing these ankle bracelets. Now, you might say, okay, maybe they're not around at that point in time. I didn't see wedding rings. I know, cultural differences. But FIRM also comes with some restrictions. So one of them is not being outside 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., right? It comes with like a curfew. People there were in line at 2 a.m., just to be clear. And about 1 year ago, single adults with ankle monitors were part of what was called an alternative to detention program, which means, instead of repercussions for your crimes, right this way. So that was something that we also had to deal with. So none of this makes a lot of sense. It's muddled, and the authorities are running interference. You see there, you have the National Guard, and then you have police officers who, at best, have no idea what's going on, and at worst, are aiding and abetting what Christopher Wray just said was basically a national security risk. Yeah. So never again be allowed. Never again allow them to force you to feel guilty for wanting people to sign the guest book on the way into this country. You have no idea. You have no idea who's coming in. And here's the thing. Let's say you do have an idea as to who's coming in. Then you have bumbling government bureaucracy who is incapable of enforcing their own laws. And this is in New York City. Think about that. What do you think is happening in El Paso? What do you think is happening on our southern border? So my question to you, is this surprising at all to you? That it's not just people coming in from Mexico, but people from across the world using Mexico as an entry point? And do you think that we are due for, I know when we asked this before, people said unlikely. Do you think that there's going to be a terrorist attack or that it's possible here on American soil? Considering the record number, 280,000, 269,000 just in the month of September.
This last month, or 2 months ago. Yeah.
And then they want to pass gun legislation.
Right. Yeah. No. So we really do appreciate those who've been doing this work for us. And again, send us your tips, especially if you work at a government agency. We've been working with some on some other stories. Send your tips to lwctips@protonmail.com. You are the eyes and ears everywhere. And that's what Andrew Breitbart said. When he talked about, he wanted to watch journalism as it was referred to. He was saying traditional, back then, legacy media die. He said, you have an iPhone. You have a smartphone. You have a camera. You have a camera wherever you go. You are now the media. You are now journalism. And we want to make sure that we do right by you. This has been MugClub Undercover. All right. We always have to make sure we do justice to those clips, so I know our mics are off. But any of that surprise you?
I'm surprised that our people pointed out the monitors to them. Then the cop comes up and gives them a fast pass right away when he realizes they're there.
But he doesn't even know what it means.
No.
Yeah.
Or is that a different cop? It looked like the same.
It seems like none of them really know what's happening.
Are they all kind of chubby Puerto Ricans, or just that one?
Hey.
Well, the sharks realized that crime doesn't pay. Yeah. And they decided to be part of the blue.
I don't know how we dial this back. This is so scary, so ugly.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is they call us racist.
Yeah.
Oh, you're racist because you don't want Mexicans coming across the border. You want brown people coming across the border. That's not it at all. I don't want people I don't know coming across the border. I would be devastated if somebody came across the border, bombed up a mall, shot up a mall or something in El Paso, and 90% Mexican American and Mexicans with visas were hurt or killed. That would be devastating.
Of course. Yeah.
It's not about race. That's like that argument's crazy, man.
Oh, yeah. And the crazy thing, too, is in these sanctuary cities, we did a change my mind. You know who that negatively affects? It affects law-abiding citizens in a lot of those cities because criminals use them as sanctuaries. And so we had a lady, her, let's call her F, when we were doing Change My Mind. She said, she took me aside, asked her face to be blurred. She said, how can I report these people? Because I'm in neighborhoods now where we have a lot of illegal migrants entering in. There's crime.
Remember that.
But I don't know how to report them. We're in a sanctuary city. And the truth is, I didn't fully have an answer. I didn't know the process. And by the way, I certainly can't instill confidence in her that they won't be back out on the street and looking to find out who snitched.
Was that a new scenario you weren't aware of? Because I remember watching that and thinking, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about being in that culture of the immigrants that are coming.
I mean, I was aware of it existing, but I certainly didn't know the steps that she should take to best protect herself.
Sure.
Well, she still has to live in that neighborhood. That's something that you guys you often don't think about. And often it's the same type of problem that we run into, the dynamic when they were talking about defunding the police. Who do you think that negatively affects the most? The law-abiding citizens in crime-ridden areas. It's the people who want to get out of the south side of Chicago. Yeah, let's call it what it is, largely black. But they eventually want to get out, but right now they still have to be there. They're stuck there if they're a teenager. They're stuck there. And because of you, privileged white government bureaucrats, well, we're going to defund the police. That kid is now worse off. That kid just has to watch the clock and go, okay, just survive until I get to the point where I can get out of here. Because now I'm in an area that's riddled with crime and there's no one coming to help me. It's what you get with sanctuary cities. It's what you get with defunding the police. It's what you get, and it's all under the guise of compassion, right? Sanctuary cities, compassion. Hey, defund the police, compassion, right? There are two, look, police are racist. Well, hold on a second. These people are just seeking a better life. The left, it really is, it comes down to, it's like raising a child, giving them everything they want. That's not compassionate. It's the same thing with puberty blockers and sex change reassignments. You're just giving the kid what they think they want, but they don't actually know what they want. And especially, by the way, if you're allowing one child to get what they want and it harms the rest of your family, if you have 3 or 4 other children, that's not compassionate. What part of this that you are seeing there seems to be checking all the boxes of compassion, even if they come here illegally and they get that ankle bracelet removed? What kind of a life do you think that's going to be?
We're seeing these people become less compassionate too.
Yeah,
in these cities, and it's only a matter of time before it'll be too late. But it's only a matter of time before they go, oh yeah, we need to do something about this.
Right? Yeah,
it'll be we should have.
Yeah, we should have.
Oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. And people will say, oh, hold on a second. We've talked about this too and changed my minds. Where they'll say, actually, immigrants here are the most law-abiding group that exists. And I'm sure Mission Control can pull this up. No, that's not true. That would be actually concealed carry holders. What they do is they throw together the list of legal immigrants and illegal immigrants. It's not the same thing. Of course, if someone came here legally, these generally are people who not only are on the books, and so they can be held accountable for their actions, but they want to be a part of the United States. They went through a legal process. They're naturally likely to be more law-abiding than someone who hasn't.
Mm-hmm. They don't want to lose that paper, baby.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
But then when you factor, you take into account illegal migrants. Now, this is a very hard number to come up with because we don't know how many illegal immigrants there are, right? That's the math trickery that they pull. They are many times more likely. Some studies have them 4 times more likely. Some studies have them up to 13 times more likely to commit violent crimes. But there is no study when accounting for illegal immigrants that shows anything than several multiples of a higher rate of violent crime likelihood. Well, okay, who does that affect? And this is why you're seeing a reshaping of the map in politics. This is why people are surprised that, oh, hold on a second, a lot of voters don't feel like the Democrat Party is representing us. Well, yeah, because even before you get to the fact that you've put them at risk, their physical safety, a lot of them are losing jobs to people who are coming from countries who will work for 16 cents a day in a sweatshop. They don't want to lose that. First, you call them racist, and they also don't want to see their nephew's head on a turtle.
Bigots.
You know, as scary as those numbers are, they're incentivized to suppress them.
Right.
They're going to be way bigger. And gotaways, that number's way bigger.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
I didn't even know we had a term. He got away. What do we call him? A gotaway. We'll have a category.
In Israel, to be honest.
What?
I thought it was a town in Israel.
Yes. Could be. It could be.
At least, yeah. Big town.
You never forget the MS-13 who got away.
That was my love.
What could have been. Look, man, our love was true, Holmes. It was pure. Would a rose by any of their names smell as sweet? I don't think so, bro.
You should have seen her in the lowrider when I hit the switches. Bop, bop. You know what I'm
saying? That's right, And then I told her, what's in her name, Holmes? She said, what? I said, the Shakespeare, dog. By the way, undo your bottom buttons. Only the top button. What are you thinking, bro? Gross.
That's to look like a cape.
Fly.
What are you going hunting? You're like a Bass Pro. You're buttoning all your buttons, bro. Just the top button. All right. Speaking of compassion, we are going to have a man here for MugClub chat. Has none. Gay William. And this is as good a time as any to let you know if you're watching on Rumble, click that button where you get to chat with all of us. It's Chat Thursday, but certainly Gay William. If you're watching on YouTube, there's nothing I can do for you. Hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm. Gay William, how are you, sir?
Oh, good morning. I'm good. How are you?
You were just doing the drag Queen of England voice again. Accidentally.
I was an ugly drag queen.
I know. Joe Lewis didn't want to go anywhere near you.
No, he was scared. His tail stopped wagging. He just looked at me. God.
His tail never stops wagging.
It never stops wagging.
Scary.
That was honestly a marvel. All right, so we're going to take some chat. You guys often have a lot of questions for Gay William. And, of course, Josh, thank you for your service. You are going to be at Bricktown Comedy Club?
Yes, in Oklahoma City this Sunday.
Ooh, nice.
This Sunday, Oklahoma City, Bricktown Comedy Club.
Things. What?
Go see Funny Josh.
Homo things.
It'll be good.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some homo things. It'll be great.
See?
And Gerald is going to be back. I think next week we will be doing a stream of the debate, I believe Wednesday, but we may have some exclusive, maybe someone special, but I don't know yet. The lawyers always tell me you can't say things until you confirm all the things, and so this is hard. Let's just go to chat on MugClub where I feel like I'm judged less. Thank you, Rumble. You too, piss off.